Cześć, witam wam ponownie na moim kanale. My name is Jamie and I'm going to be doing my February update for my language hours spent in my year so far. This is the third video in this series, so I'm not going to be making this video as long as the other two videos that I've done so far, because I think you get the idea of like what I do for each language at this point. But if there's anything that I do that's new, then obviously I will let you guys know. So just a quick look at this. Hours spent in 2023 so far. You can see my Spanish is at 49 hours and 5 minutes, very close to that 50-hour mark, and we're actually only 2 days away from the end of February, but because this is like my only available day to record this video, this is why I'm doing this today. So it's potential I could hit 50 hours in Spanish by the next 2 days, and then, by the end of February, essentially. So there's nothing new I've been doing with my Spanish. I have seen a new series on Netflix, which I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. So basically, there's just different Netflix series that I've been watching in Spanish. I've been listening to a lot of Spanish as well to try and get a lot more comprehensible input, that whole thing. And so, I've really been trying to like hone in on my skills in Spanish, especially as my previous video where I was speaking in Spanish. There was a lot of mistakes in there, and I want to try and improve upon that. And this year, I think, is a big goal for me to actually pinpoint in my Spanish certain things that I want to improve, and one of them is going to be my speaking. So I'm going to attempt to speak a lot this year in Spanish, more so than I have done in the previous 14 years worth of learning Spanish. But I'll explain it in another video anyway. Polish, 39 hours and 10 minutes. So again, almost 40 hours, probably will be over 40 hours within the next 2 days, because again, with Polish, similar to my Spanish, I spend a lot of time in these two languages, particularly because it's easier for me in these two languages over all the other languages for me to get comprehensible listening input. And listening at the moment is where I do a lot of my activities in regards to language learning, because I haven't had as much time, as you probably could tell, for dedicating towards YouTube videos. I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate towards my languages as much as I would like to, because I've been working a lot. I don't know if you can hear, a little bit ill. So that just also puts me back a little bit. So I've been very busy recently, been doing a lot of things. I've been going to a bunch of gigs and that kind of thing. So obviously my YouTube video creations and my language learning has sort of taken a bit of a hit recently. It's just one of those things. I've been really busy recently. However, with my Polish and my Spanish, I can get a lot of listening done, because I have more comprehensible input via listening with those two languages over my other languages further down the list. Japanese with 33 hours and 35 minutes. I took one lesson so far on italki in Japanese, which I think personally went really well. Obviously, I can't speak much Japanese, and so a lot of it was basically talking with the tutor in English, but then like getting feedback in Japanese, seeing how much I could understand. The tutor teaching me different phrases and different words and whatnot in Japanese, and I still need to go back in that chat log and import those words and phrases into Link to then like properly study. But I'm definitely going to be booking more lessons in Japanese this year on italki with that same tutor. So I'm hoping my Japanese level with speaking is going to like improve at least a little bit by the end of this year. I think in this month so far, I can't remember exactly what the hours were from the previous month, but I probably only spent about 7 or 8 hours in my Japanese, give or take, this month. So it's not the most I could have spent, but obviously with my other languages there as well, I have to essentially spend time in each language as much as I can, like equally. And so yeah, my Japanese is still like progressing. It's just I don't have the time to spend like hours and hours per day. So I dedicate like maybe half an hour to an hour maybe per day or every couple of days for my Japanese. 23 hours and 10 minutes for my French. Now I feel like this has barely increased from January's update, because with my French I've done a little bit of listening. I've done a little bit of reading, but like I still haven't dedicated time to like finding French series on Netflix. I barely watch any French YouTube channels, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Again, French is still very new to me, and like with my other languages being at like this certain point, I just feel like it's more important for me at the moment to like focus on my Spanish and my Polish in regards to comprehensible input. My French is like at like a level where it's like it's okay if I just take it easy for now, because obviously my other languages for me take precedence. But at the same time, like I'm still like really interested in learning French to a better level, because it's just, I don't know, there was like a certain like beauty that I found in the language when I started learning French, and it wasn't even meant to be for a couple months, but French has became one of my main languages because of this sort of beauty, or like this thing that I found in the language that I actually thought is worth learning. I just, again, with time and everything, is very restricted, so I need to find time for my French as well as all my other languages. But like I say, hopefully from the end of February going forward, I will have more time because I won't have as many things going on in my life, and hopefully I won't be as ill. So that's just how it's gone this month. Plus February is a shorter month, so obviously there's a little bit less time in February than other months in the year. I'm just going to bunch the other 4 languages in one. Obviously Korean was just because I watched a Korean show last month or whatever, so that's probably not going to grow that much this year. German is only when I listen to Ramstein when I'm at the gym. I actually recently, when I'm been at the gym, I've been listening to other music just to like change it up a bit. I have tried listening to podcasts in like my other languages, like in Polish and Spanish, for example, while at the gym. Personally, I don't really enjoy that. I prefer listening to music that's gonna like give me that pump. I find time for my languages elsewhere in my life anyway. But a lot of people say that they actually enjoy listening to podcasts and whatnot while at the gym while listening to that language. So it's something that I do want to like try again and just give like maybe a couple sessions like to actually see how it goes. But I didn't really enjoy it all that much. It was okay. It's not like something I'd knock down. Just when I'm listening to like music, there's something about it that gives me more of a rhythm, more of a pump, that kind of thing. It gets me more in the mindset of like, lifting weights and exercising. So that's just like my personal thought. Potentially if I'm on the exercise bike, then I would listen to a podcast or watch like a Netflix series, because I have done that before and I do enjoy watching a series while cycling, because I'll cycle for maybe half an hour at a time. But while lifting weights, for me personally, 100% music is the thing that I enjoy listening to the most. Hawaiian and Swahili, they haven't changed at all. Again, one is been because of time. I just haven't had time for my main languages, so I'm not going to have time for those side languages. But also, like, my motivation for those 2 languages sort of has dropped quite a lot since I started, like, dabbling in them. And to be quite honest, Swahili is like a language I would like to, like, study more at some point in my life. Maybe in a couple years or something, I'm not really too sure. But it's certainly a language I'd like to study more because it's a very important language, especially if you're looking at, like, the African continent. Overall, I just felt like I had made a little bit more progress with my Swahili and I understood the language more than I did with Hawaiian. Obviously with Hawaiian I had less resources. Hawaiian was only really on Duolingo and like a very few amount of like YouTube channels that I could find. I didn't really have the resources to buy some of the books that some of you guys suggested me in Hawaiian, but it was just really to like dive a little bit into these languages and see what's up. I haven't had time to really look into them at all this month, and also the motivation for both of these languages right now just weren't there. So I'm gonna pick 2 new languages in like another video coming soon. It may even already be out depending on when this video comes out and then when that video gets recorded and when that video gets put out as well. But essentially I think I'm ready to like start 2 new languages from the wheel and just see how they go. If there are any languages that are chosen for me that are on link, then I will 100% be putting in way more hours than 3 to 5 hours worth of in that language. But it's just that with Swahili and Hawaiian, there's like minimal resources, and so it's like not as easy for me to learn or to study. And I found out the hard way that I just don't have the time to like study like realistically like my main 4 languages, let alone like other languages as well, to like a full degree. But obviously I already knew that anyway, hence why I just called them side languages. But I did think, in all honesty, that I would be putting in more than 3 hours or 4, almost 5 hours into those side languages, because sometimes I'm in the mood for them, sometimes I'm not. It just really depends. And I think Duolingo being my main resource for Hawaiian really just it just didn't do anything for my motivation, because I'm just so sick of Duolingo right now. But I will use it if it's like my only resource. It's just, it doesn't really help me all that much. But it's still interesting to like look at the languages. I still have learned some things from the languages, and obviously that's the main goal for me to do these side languages, is just to learn more about these languages, potentially how the grammar works, potentially learn a bit about the culture, that kind of thing, just so I'm a little bit more broad with my world languages and I'm not focused as much on just European and Asian languages. So that's it for my hours in February. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Like I said, I'm going to be choosing 2 new languages very soon, so stay tuned for that video. Choose one of the 2 videos in the end screen annotation coming up in a second if you're interested in watching more videos of mine. All out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.